Hey guys, Eli here. So today I'm going to talk with you about two drills which you can do, dry-fire drills for the tactical reload. Quick before we'll introduce the drills for you, I will just really quick go with you through the tactical reload in case and some of you are not familiar with that. Well, first of all, tactical reload is the most raped word in the industry, obviously. But to be honest, it's a very simple conduct of which I'm compensating for a certain loss of ammunition from a magazine. So my magazine is not empty, but let's say I've shot 8 rounds out of a certain amount of bullets I had, and I have now both space and time, which go together into an opportunity, and I would like to compensate for that loss of ammunition by adding a new source of ammunition. What is also very important to remark is that when we do tactical reload, we're looking into it as a skill that is basically a high form of skill. So behaviorally, this is something that I will not do when I'm very close to a threat or when I'm under high level of stress. There are a few reasons for that. I don't want to get too much into it, but long story short, it's a conduct which is based on a very abstract thinking, logical reasoning of 1 + 1 is 2, and normally under high stress levels we don't have the ability to go that far in terms of how much cognitive resources we have available. That's another story. So it is a high form of skill which we do normally in certain situations where we have time and space into our advantage, which means covered or a good position, and we have either a long distance from the threat or there is simply no need for reaction time because the threat is already eliminated in our immediate environment. Okay, let's go really quick into the conduct itself, in case some of you do it differently a little bit, or some of you are not really familiar with that and you want to use the opportunity now to also learn how to do it. So I will walk you through very quick. There is a very simple principle for that. Any ammunition I'm taking for a tactical reload will be from any pouch which is relatively taking me longer to access, meaning in the worst places possible for my kids. So for example, in my belt here, I have now 3 pouches for pistol magazines, right? When I'm training tactical reloads, I'm taking primarily from here or from here. Why? Because this will be my source for emergency. Okay, so this is the fastest spot for me, this is just a fast spot for me. So fastest, just fast. So I'll always take from here when I'm more deliberate in thinking, but when it's about fast reload, meaning I have a threat very close to me, I'm under stress and I'm in movement, I will always take from here. Alright, so this is important to understand a tactical reload. We take magazines that are from the worst places in our kit and not from the most easiest to access pouches. This is for you to set up your concept, I got my own. Next, how do we actually do it? So very quick, I will be, doesn't matter now in which position you will be, high ready, low ready, behind cover, behind your friend who is covering for you, whatever. I will be, first of all, indexing the elbow to me so the weapon always follows with me. If someone calls me, whatever, the weapon will come with me. Next, the weapon is in front of me, not like this, it's in front of me. I don't want to flag anyone. And I also don't want to put my flashlight in someone else in case I'm going to press on it, okay? Just something that I've seen once happening. Alright, long story short, weapon is here, secure, this is my working space. Really important, the wrist is tense, okay? I don't want to have it flailing around because at some point I'm going to put some pressure against it. I don't want it to fly away from my sweaty palm. Alright, next, index, wrist is tense. So as I'm standing here, the next step is going to be giving a quick look. What do I have available for me in my working space? Maybe I'm in a prolonged contact, which means with a blade carrier I have stuff that's already consumed, lost, whatever. Maybe I'm already fighting for 2 days and I lost magazines, alright, so what do I have available? Okay, it was here, and so on. Glance, saw it, I'm going to take it. Once I take it, I will index it. And at this point I will bring the magazine towards the gun. As soon as it comes in, I will glance one more time from my immediate environment to my magazine and back away from it. The reason for that is I want to make sure that I have actually a full magazine. When I was back in service, I didn't have any kind of a fancy follower and I used the T-Pex to mark it white, so if for whatever reason I fucked up under high stress or a long prolonged fight, whatever, I don't know. If this is empty and I took it out, or I have one round and it's going to be empty once I will shoot, I will recognize it, okay? So again, magazine comes to the gun, quick glance from far to the magazine, everything is fine, it's all happening simultaneously, right? It comes in, as soon as it comes to the gun, my finger is going to compress, ready, taking the magazine out, and right now I have a very fine grip, which we call the Raptor grip, but I will get back to that in another video. And right now, I I take it out, shift it to a new one, contra it, in, confirm, back to the pouch, and I'm ready to go. Alright? So this is how the procedure itself looks like. I will demonstrate it in 2 speeds, one slow, one fast. So I am right here, alright? Weapon is with me, everything is fine. I'm deciding to do the tactical reload. Quick remark, 2 things I want you to remember. 1, you don't have to be fast in tactical reload. If you had the time and you had the space to do it, you can afford yourself 1 more second to be slow but certain. 2, certain. Meaning, I want to make sure that everything sits properly and everything is stored properly and nothing falls off my hand. If you recognize when I was fast, I forgot to do 2 things which are for me important methodology-wise. 1, confirming that the magazine was in. 2, making sure that when I bring the new magazine in, I shift my focus from far to near so I consider the magazine is just fine. This is just extra information for you. Okay, let's go into the drills. So what kind of drills I can offer you today? There are 2 drills. They are very basic. The first one is extremely basic. I recommend it for guys who don't have so much experience with it, or in my case, and I admit it, I do it sometimes often, relatively often, if you have a new piece of equipment or you change the way you set up your pouches, this drill might be very good for you because you get to experiment a little bit with how is the pouch over there, how it interacts with your weapon sling, the way you work with your working space, all that kind of jazz, okay? So the first drill is going to look like this. I'll go through it very quick. So I will be right here, weapon presented forward, everything is cool, right? From now on, I will count down either from 10 or from 15 to 0, whatever you prefer. It might look a little bit funny, but there is a point behind it. And it will look like this. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. What I did basically was, and it's kind of weird to do it in front of a camera, it's cool guy stuff, but now seriously, in terms of benefits for you, what I just did was I gave myself a certain amount of time, which I know is okay for me. I know I can perform under that time. I was not rushing nowhere. And while I had some attention into following through the numbers, I also had to divert some attention into actually following the procedure. So first of all, I was not just standing here and perfecting a procedure to extreme levels. Instead, I was putting a little bit of cognitive effort into counting down, following the drill, and second, also performing the task. It has nothing to do really with reality, it just has to do with how much I'm aware about what I'm doing and how much I'm not aware about what I'm doing. Okay? Now, here is how it's going to work. If I did 10 seconds, like 5 reps, 8 reps, and it was really cool, and everything was fun, and you didn't recognize any problems with the way you work, or you didn't use the camera, and you didn't recognize any problem, whatever, you can start and put, you can lower the time, sorry for the English. What you can do is the following. So for example, I can decide now that I can do it in 6 seconds, properly, alright? So it will look like this. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. You probably saw the difference, right? So it's nice, it's cool, you can do it also with a friend. I really like it when you do it with a friend. He counts down for you and he's like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and it's pretty cool. Alright, so this drill is really recommended for you. Try it out. Before you try out, I want to come back into the principle I talked about before, and that is the magazine. A small tip, you don't have to do it, because I know every person has his own way to do it, my preference. I do this drill with 3 magazines. And the reason for that is that I have here in my equipment right now 1 magazine which is designated to be for an emergency situation, meaning fast on the go. And what we see, and I mean I did it also as a mistake for many years, is that you just practice the procedure. So I will just I want to be fast like my instructor expects me to be, so I'm just throwing my hand and picking some magazine. This is kind of wrong because I'm setting myself to failure to situations where I don't have the time and space for a reload, right, as I mentioned before. So I designated this magazine to be the magazine for the fast reload. Alright, so now I have 2 magazines left. These 2 magazines are working with each other, so they are replacing one another all the time. If at some point you recognize that you took a magazine from here, and this is where I recommend you to mark them, you will know that you're just throwing your hand and you don't really have any kind of a procedure, okay? Again, this is where it will be a long discussion. There is a point behind it, there is a concept behind it, but this is just a way for you to ensure that your training is also relevant for reality and there are no gap holes in the training that will screw you up when the moment comes, okay? Good. Okay guys, so here is the next drill. In this one, instead of me calling out the numbers, I'm going to use a shot timer, which basically will give me a window of opportunity to conduct a tactical reload, meaning I'm going to have the first beep, 6 seconds, and then the final beep. In between these two beeps, I have enough time to execute the conduct itself. Now before we start, really quick, this drill is primarily for both basic or advanced shooters, but I really recommend it for guys to go into all of this speed of conduct, whatever, once you get your stuff zeroed and squared away, okay? So everybody want to be fast, and you know, we see it on Instagram and all kind of places, but it's actually pretty bad if you don't get the basics right. And to be honest, even advanced stuff are simply basics just being done on a string, okay, with many other basics, so think about it. Okay, cool, so what are the benefits of this drill? Here, instead of having you calling numbers for yourself, you have a new environmental stress, and that is time. Time is the limit. If you are too late, or you're fumbling around, flailing, whatever, the shot timer here in the machine will tell you, well, you suck. Alright, so this is a new environmental stress and restriction, okay? If you're advanced, this might not be much of a problem for you, as long as you don't really push yourself. But for basic guys or people who don't do it so often, you will see that they start to experience some kind of skill deficiencies, okay? So think about it. Next point, I like to use it as a warm-up, or again when I'm checking a new piece of kit, but I will not over-perfect the time on this drill, meaning I will take a normal time, which I know is a good benchmark for me. I know it's a good time for me, but from there I will go into the range and I will continue that there, okay? In dry fire, we don't want to over-perfect stuff, because in this environment, I don't have many types of stressors that I will encounter in reality, and therefore if I'm over-perfecting stuff, as soon as I will enter reality and I will meet a lot of new variables, the effect will be pretty not friendly for me. It will be really, really annoying kind of novelty, okay? But that's another story, I don't want to narrow it out on you. Okay, next, how is the drill actually working? So, I will just set it up here really quick. First, I'm going to be in high ready, low ready, whatever, on threat position, whatever you feel like. I'll just present my pistol. Timer is going, compressing the pistol, going through it, and so on. Okay, so it took a little bit longer than, yeah, but I'll do it one more time, this time a little bit challenging. That was like 6 seconds. I'll do it now, like what, 4.5. Okay. So that was a little bit faster, that was 4.5. It can be a little bit faster than this, but to be honest, and this is my opinion, you should not over fast it, or whatever is said in English. Don't need to be too fast. The faster I'm going to be, the more human error. And in this conduct, I don't need to be too fast, because again, this conduct I will do when both space and time are available for me, and both creating an opportunity for me. And there, being right is better than being fast, technically speaking. Again, we can discuss it a lot, but this is something different than fast reload. Okay? Now, one more thing. If you're already into studying and understanding techniques, if you will recognize, the more you will push yourself in terms of urgency, you know, like I have really not a much amount of time to do the contact or whatever, you will recognize the stuff like, you know, checking that the magazine is sitting in well, or really going through looking at the magazine and making sure that you have ammunition, probably is not going to take place. And that's just fine, that's normal. In reality, if I have millions of stuff happening around me, it has a similar effect to having that short amount of time here. I have an overload, or I have some sort of pressure. Alright, and this is where we see people starting to strip down the procedure into what is really important, right? Like this 20-80 rule, right? So here in this case, what happens here is basically is that People will just do what is really necessary. There's other stuff that are, you know, a little bit fancy, like checking in the magazine CTN, they will probably skip, and that's normal, okay? So again, no need to over-perfect it. Okay, let me recap it very quick. So we talked basically about 2 drills. The first one was me deliberately calling out numbers for me. So for example, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. Then you can play with the times a little bit. And then the next drill, when I have 1 beep, I have to do everything, and then I have the final beep. Let me set it up really quick for you. Oh, it's so quiet all of a sudden. Alright, so it will look like this. Okay, so that was really nice because I almost fucked myself up right now with the timer. I didn't even set it up. But yeah, so those are the 2 drills I'm reminding you. 3 magazines, okay, 1 is designated as the fast one, which means I'm not allowed to take from it. And if you recognize you take it out, then do 10 push-ups, whatever, punish yourself, spank yourself, I don't know. But 2 magazines are used primarily for tactical reload. This is important. I did a lot of mistakes with that many years ago, and it's not so cool, okay? So think about it. I hope this is useful for you. Take care, guys.